The perfect fragrance pairings for each style. This will be an interesting video. It's an idea that came to me recently where essentially I give you a day and night combination for different pairings where I think they kind of fit into a similar style. They kind of fit into a personality that I think would like both of these. So it's kind of a video title where, you know, if you like these fragrances, you're gonna love these as well, but it's sort of like day and night. One is for the daytime, one's for the evening. When it comes to these 5 pairings, I can kind of see the daytime fragrance being your daily workhorse fragrance that kind of suits you all year round. It's sort of your signature, you wear it in the daytime, and then you transition into your evening fragrance afterwards. They suit you, they suit each other, and they kind of meld into each other quite well. I'm going to explain each style as I go through them and then give you the pairings afterwards. Hopefully you guys agree and this video concept makes sense to you. Let's begin. The first pairing I'm going to call the elegant pair. This is the pair of fragrances that are very nicely priced. They are high-end designer, but at the same time they're elegant, mass appealing, and beautifully blended. You sort of like the artistic side of perfumery with this pairing, but they're still very easy to wear. With, you know, not necessarily focusing on performance as the most important thing, but they're both just very artistic and beautiful fragrances in their own right. I think these would go well together. So in the daytime, you'd be rocking Bleu De Chanel. This is your safe blue fragrance that pretty much works in any season, any time round. It is fresh out the shower, but at the same time has some darkness, some depth, some elegance. This could be your evening scent as well, but generally, a lot of people will wear Bleu De Chanel in the daytime. I kind of think it's a bit boring if you wear your daytime signature to the evening time as well every single day, so it's nice to have variety as well. Then in the evening, this person would wear Guerlain's L'Homme Extreme. It has similar elegance to Bleu De Chanel. Decent performance as well, both average performance. This lasts about 6 hours, Bleu De Chanel Eau de Parfum lasts about 8 hours on me. And they just both smell very balanced. Again, there's that balance of some fresh aspects here. I think there's some citruses. The plum has some freshness in there, some almond, and then goes a bit darker with some tobacco, some amber, some leather. It's a very beautiful, balanced, let's say traditionally oriental categorized fragrance that has some really good notes. This is one of the best flankers in the L'Homme line in my opinion. And I just think, yeah, the person who wears Bleu De Chanel would wear this as well, would rock it really easily. What do you guys think? Agree or disagree? 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. The next pairing, I'll call this the handsome man. This would be the handsome guy who isn't super into like weird heavy fragrances. A lot of niche stuff, for example, is super thick, heavy. It's meant to try and be luxurious, hence why a lot of niche fragrances go in that direction. This is for the kind of guy who wants to kind of stand out but be handsome and mass appealing overall and doesn't care too much about smelling a little bit inaccessible. He wants to really be mass appealing and kind of just have a casual style that works for him. Loewe 7 Cobalt. I think I'm pronouncing the brand name correctly now. This is a fantastic underrated gem that I discovered recently after I went to Spain. And this fragrance to me smells like a handsome man going around in Spain in tropical weather who wants a blue fragrance that's more on the lighter, fresher side, but it's more beautifully blended than most on the market. Fruity, spicy, light, fresh out the shower. It lasts around 6 hours, but I still think, you know, you don't care too much about the performance. It's good enough for the scent profile. It's so light, invigorating, super handsome. This is a really sexy and well-blended blue fragrance that more people need to check out. If you're sleeping on this, stop sleeping on it. Go check it out. And again, as I said, this is the handsome man's pairing. So after wearing this during the daytime, he would wear Dolce & Gabbana's The One Eau de Parfum. So he's a handsome guy. He wants a handsome fragrance. This works pretty much on everyone. And similar to Loewe 7 Cobalt, it's balanced. I get around 6 hours with this. Soft to medium projection with a really nice balance of tobacco, amber, some ginger, I believe is in here, some cardamom. This is just a very handsome, sharp, but at the same time sweet fragrance. It's a safe date night fragrance. We know this in the community. I kind of feel like the guy who wears a safe fragrance like Loewe 7 Cobalt and this would just wear the same fragrance. He'd wear these two. And I just think they have the same appeal of being really safe, really easy, but still beautifully blended. And they're not focused on performance as their most highly prioritized factor once again. This next pairing is a bit of a strange name. I'm going to call it the creamy pair. This is the pairing for the kind of guy who likes smooth, thick, creamy fragrances, so kind of opposite to those other pairings where they're a bit more musky, balanced, and fresh. These are just very smooth fragrances, some smooth perfumery here that are still unique. In the daytime, you'd wear Chanel's Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Thick, creamy, tonka bean-based perfumery. Focuses a lot on mandarin, on mint in here. It's like fresh, sporty, but at the same time has thickness in here. It is a very smooth, musky fragrance that, although I find this a bit too smooth. I think for a certain style, for a certain personality, you're gonna love this. It smells like elegance still, even though it's sporty fresh. It's a very interesting combination of Chanel have made with this. And then after 8 hours longevity with Chanel's L'Homme Sport Eau Extreme, that's why I give my bottle at least, you would then put on Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Also another thick and creamy fragrance, quite a dense sweet scent. Cardamom, coolfy, floral notes with vanilla, and it's a very vanillic fragrance overall in general. It's just a dense, close to the skin, sexy gourmand fragrance that's really very unique, and that coffee note is what makes it stand out, makes it distinct. It sort of has this very exotic and different appeal to it. It's dark, but at the same time enticing. So I kind of feel like if you're the kind of guy who likes the smooth creaminess of a L'Homme Sport Eau Extreme, that's obviously a lot more fresh, but then this transitions from that fragrance really nicely, very seamlessly into a darker direction. I think you'd really like this fragrance in the evening time. The next pairing I'll call the mature pairing. So this is for the kind of guy who likes mass appealing fragrances, he likes niche fragrances, but he likes to be mature, stand out. He wants to really impress clients or friends in networking or other colleagues, etc. He wants to smell expensive, he doesn't want the bad stuff, and he just wants stuff that's gonna work, it's gonna last a good amount of time, and it's not really gonna offend anyone. In the daytime, he would wear Creed Aventus. Now, of course, I've hated on this fragrance many times. I'm not saying now that I love this fragrance, there's too many variations. Ideally, if you're this rich, mature guy, go for Aventus Absolu. It's better. It's kind of reinvigorating Aventus back to its glory days. It's just a better concentration overall, so go for that in my opinion. But, you know, try to get the best bottle of Aventus you can. I think just the general idea of Aventus is what's going to apply here. It doesn't have to be Aventus itself, but of course there's like 50 different Aventus fragrances out there now, so any Aventus-esque fragrance can be placed into this pairing. Basically, you like a mature, woody, professional, citrus, pineapple fragrance that overall is distinct and created for the time that it was created back in the day, but it's pretty common, but it gets the job done essentially. And I think it is more of a mature fragrance. It's more on the mature side. I can kind of imagine, and hopefully you can as well, the kind of man who would wear Aventus these days. I will say for this pairing, try to make sure you have Aventus or an expensive smelling Aventus clone. So something like L'Aventure smells quite expensive to my nose, or at least go for something like Hachivat. A lot of people say Emperor Extrait, one of their clones by Pineapple Vintage Parfum, I think they're called, is also quite good apparently. So yeah, opt for something that smells expensive if you want to be a mature, expensive smelling man. Mont Blanc Explorer also works. And then in the evening time, he'd be rocking Penhaligon's Blazing Mr. Sam. So a lot of people say Blazing Mr. Sam smells similar to Halfeti, which I think is potentially Penhaligon's most popular fragrance, which is a traditional spicy rose oud fragrance that focuses more on synthetic woody notes. Mr. Sam does smell similar, yes, in my opinion. You can get it in the air very similarly, but I think they've modified it to make it a little bit more mass appealing. It's not as traditional or as classical as Halfeti anymore. They've kind of toned down the patchouli, they've kind of toned down the quote-unquote oud aspects. I don't think it was real oud in Halfeti, and I definitely don't think it's real oud here either. I don't even think it's listed as a note. But they've got these more mass-appealing, cleaner, woody notes. It's a more cleaned up, more modernized version of Halfeti. It's super sexy, spicy, woody, warm, at the same time balanced. It has some freshness in there as well. This could be your daytime signature, but I think it works better in the evening time. It lasts about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, so pretty good performer. And I think it smells super mass appealing. I think it's an easy fragrance to get into for Penhaligons. If you want a nice daytime scent from them, go for Sartorial. And then in the evening time, Blazing Mr. Sam, I think most people are gonna love this. So I think this would work for this mature man who wants fragrances that just work and he knows people will like them on him. And then lastly, I'm gonna call this pairing the casual pairing. This is for the kind of guy who doesn't want to think too much about his signature day and night fragrances. He wants fragrances that kind of just work anytime, anywhere. Super casual. He doesn't wear clothes that are too formal. He likes to wear hoodies and jeans. For example, maybe this is gonna be a young student's pairing right here. So I think these are the two fragrances I would go for this. Versace Pour Homme. Classical, aquatic, musky, citrus, sharp perfumery made by Alberto Marias. Just beautifully well blended for a mainstream audience essentially. And Versace Pour Homme is just classical. You smell it, you think this smells like a man's fragrance. Something that's just been in circulation for at least almost 20 years now, and I think it's going to stand a test of time. It just works as your casual everyday scent. And because of the airiness, the muskiness, the sharpness of Versace Pour Homme, I think this same individual would transition well into this fragrance. Maison Margiela's Jazz Club. Although Jazz Club is not a beast mode performer, I think this works both well in dates, reserved evenings, and even louder evenings as well. I just think this has a very casual, cool, and sexy vibe to it. Tobacco, amber, woody notes, muskiness, again, balanced, sharp, kind of like Versace Pour Homme. And it has these boozy notes in there as well, of course, making it smell like a jazz club, as it says. So if you want that cool, handsome, casual man vibe, again, that Versace Pour Homme gives you, I think going into this fragrance works really well. This might be a controversial take, so tell me guys, do you agree or disagree with this pairing? And that concludes this video, guys. What did you think of this video idea? Hopefully this video does well, because I was really proud of making this in my head, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Hopefully you found it useful. Let me know, guys, are you the kind of person who does have signature day and night combinations? Do you feel like you have a really heavily used daytime fragrance to go for and then a really heavily used evening fragrance, and do you feel like they transition into each other quite nicely? Do you agree with this concept of some people like a particular kind of style and they can kind of transition into the same style throughout the entire day and night? Let me know, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our previous video on some easy upgrades from popular fragrances, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.